This isn't gonna be your typical beautiful before and after. We're gonna share with you the realities of renovation in this video. Hey everyone, it's Christina from the DIYmommy.com. In case you're new here, we are renovating a lake house that we're going to be turning into either a full-time or a vacation rental. This is our first investment property, and this is my husband, Sean.
Hi.
It's been a few months since I shared with you an update on this place, and honestly I was hesitant to share anything because, as you can see in the background, it's not really...
It's not going that great.
But I just felt like I owed you an explanation of where we're at. Plus I want to share with you just some tips on what you can do if you get into a
situation.
Because let's face it, renovation isn't as pretty as sometimes you might see on TV. And I think that's the beauty of being here on YouTube, is that we can show you all of the things that we actually have to go through to make this place into something beautiful and rentable from what it was, and especially from what it is now.
Yeah.
Which is worse.
Well, yeah, it's going to be much better when it's done, for sure.
Let's talk about everything that we've done since I last shared with you an update in December until now. In December, we ripped everything, we as in mostly Sean, ripped everything right down to the drywall. How did we get from there to this point?
Okay, so we ripped down the cabinets in the kitchen, and then I ripped down that drywall, and then I started ripping down the outer walls, and I realized that we have 2x4 walls in the house, and I should have caught it when we were looking at the place, but it just rosy glasses, I guess. And in Alberta, you need to have 2x6 walls usually if you're running pink insulation. So we only have R10 rating in the walls. We need a minimum of an R20 rating in the wall, and the only way we'll get that now is to spray foam this. So I had to rip down the entire outer walls of all the drywall, and then under the drywall was the panel board. So I had to rip off all that, and then we have to pull all the insulation, and we have to spray foam it, and then once that was done, there was only like 4 or 5 walls left. So
then they all came off.
So then we thought we might as well modify those ones and take off the paneling, so at least we can work behind them and get things right in the right places. And this is where we are now.
We really were trying to avoid any extra costs for this renovation, because when we purchased the place and I was calculating how much we could put into renovations for this and still have it to be a wise investment as a rental, it wasn't much. It was maybe $30,000 Canadian, but now we have to do spray foam in order to properly insulate the place. Plus we're going to need all new windows, which we knew from the beginning, and we just got a quote for those, and those are going to be pricey as well. So I'm hopeful that we can stick to that budget, but I mean, I'm scared. All right, let's talk about a really disgusting problem. There's lots of problems with this place, let's face it.
Yes. When they actually did a bathroom reno, it doesn't look like too long ago. It looks like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. They did a bathroom reno. Nice. Yeah, the tile in the tub was nice, and they had redone the insulation and the plastic behind the tub. But I had noticed the access panel for the tub plumbing, the insulation was kind of messed around behind the tub. So I thought we'd have to take out the bathroom just to see what was happening behind there. I didn't know it would be what it is, which was basically they cut a hole for the tub in the floor from the crawl space, and all the mice came up through that hole and into the wall and basically rotted out the wall behind the tub. So yeah, I get to reframe out that. They actually chewed through the outside plywood of the house as well, so I'll have to replace that too. We're gonna frame in a new window anyway, so I had to take some of it out anyways. It's just a little more rotten than I thought it would be, and a little more gross.
Yeah.
And there was another corner of the house that had mice in it too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the good thing about the spray foam insulation is that's going to help us with the rodent problem.
Yeah, no, it's a solid 2-pound spray foam, so basically the mice don't like to eat it and they don't like to go through it, and it's a solid system once it's in there, so they can't make a nest in it if they wanted to. So that will solve a lot of that'll solve all the mice problems in the outer walls for sure. And then we just have to make sure that from the crawl space to the house is totally sealed then as well. So yeah, just things to look out for.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. Next steps are we are ordering windows today, and then we have to wait for those to come in. We are planning on renovating the bathroom in this place first for a couple reasons. Number one, we hope to collaborate with one of my favorite YouTubers and friends and each do bathroom renovations. Plus, it would be kind of nice to have it ready so we could use it while we're renovating the rest of the place. And it's kind of a nice small space to begin with. We have a lot of materials already on hand that we can just reuse for that space. So it shouldn't be that expensive. I mean, famous last words. That's what we said when we... Anyway, I am still fiddling with the layout of the kitchen, and I shared a little bit of that on my Instagram account if you're curious to follow along there. And I know there were a couple of questions that came up in the last video in December, as well as on Instagram, that I just wanted to chat about quickly, because I know a lot of you are really curious on how you would go about doing something like this if you were to renovate an older home. First question is asbestos. In any home, I believe older than the mid 1980s, it's really important to check to see if you have asbestos in the home. It's really common in things like ceiling tiles, which we had here.
Sometimes it's in the insulation that they put in. It wasn't this stuff. This is actually pink insulation, so they didn't have any of that. Sometimes it's in flooring, tiles, and stuff like that as well. Sometimes the ceiling insulation.
So we would definitely recommend that if you have an older home, you have a professional check that out for you. We were lucky not to have any in this home, but it's certainly something to watch out for in an older home. Another question we were asked is, how do you know when you need to get permits, for example, development permit, building permit, electrical permit, etc.? First thing that we would recommend is you need to go talk to a licensed contractor where you live, and they should know whether you need to pull a permit or not.
Usually rule of thumb is if you're changing the look of the outside of the house, if you're moving plugs or moving sinks or toilets, or basically moving electrical or plumbing, you'll need some sort of permit for that. Very, very minor modifications to those things, like if you're just moving, if the sink is in the same location, but it's just a different vanity, and that's perfectly fine to just swap out your sink and your vanity kind of thing, and you don't need inspections for that, because you're not moving actual plumbing locations or electrical locations. And if you're not, like I said, changing the outside of your house, you shouldn't need a development permit for that, because development permits are to show everybody else what you want to do with your property. So if you're not changing the look of the existing property, you shouldn't need that either. But every municipality is different, and everyone has different inspection agencies, and they all have their own set of rules as well, usually. So you do have to look locally, and you do have to, if you're not familiar with it, talk to a contractor.
There was another question on Instagram asking how to handle any mold in an old renovation like this, and I think it really depends on how much mold there is. Again, we recommend 100% talk to a professional.
Generally, if it's a small amount of mold and it's not black in large patches, you can take bleach water and spray it down so that nothing gets airborne, and clean it up and wipe it away kind of thing. If it's anything, but I'm talking like small specks of black. I'm not talking big splotches kind of thing. So it is up to you to make that decision on what is too much for you kind of thing.
The final question that I was asked on Instagram that I want to address, and I think it's a really good one, and it is, do you have buyer's remorse?
Good one. No, I don't think I do. I expected it to be bad. I was hoping we'd get to save some of the inside and not have to replace insulation and stuff like that. But I mean, it'll be, with spray foam and everything we do to it, it'll be a very comfortable house in the winter. It'll be a beautiful lake house in the summer, and it'll cost a little more and be some more work, but no, I'm pretty okay with it still.
Yeah, and I would say I am too. I mean, like we said, we knew going into it there was going to be some issues, maybe not to this extent, where we're basically like building a house from
basically gut the
framing.
House and redo it.
But The property here is absolutely gorgeous. The location is where it's at, right? And this location is absolutely beautiful. And I really like that this particular location, we could either rent it out full time because it's by a wonderful community really close to the big city, or we can rent it as a vacation rental if we can get that permitted by the municipality here. So we have options, and we love the area, and we both are, we enjoy renovating.
Yes.
So
I enjoy the finished product of renovating.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't have buyer's remorse either. It's just a little scary at this point. But I think once we get it spray foamed in the new windows and we get to work on the bathroom, we'll be able to see, there'll be a little more hope there.
There's always hope, and I'm sure it will get done.
Mm-hmm.
We just are into it for a little more than we thought we would be.
Yeah.
So
that is the reality of renovating. I hope this has helped give you comfort. I don't know.
It doesn't give us comfort.
If you're renovating a really difficult old space like this, you're bound to come across issues like this, and definitely check with a professional when you have major issues, just to give you peace of mind and make sure that they're corrected properly. And we're going to keep you updated on all the progress, and I'm hopefully going to be sharing a before and after with you in the next video in this series. I truly hope, but we're going to keep you posted, and we're just going to keep everything real for you here. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in those comments below what you think of the house right now. Is it beautiful? What do you think? I'd also love to hear any stories of disastrous renovations that you've done. It's always interesting to see other people's real stories and just know that it is completely normal to have to deal with issues when you are doing a major renovation like this. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more DIY and decor ideas. I'm gonna leave some more videos that I hope you will enjoy and watch next right up here.